Hey, this is Ashley Needles here, and I had a really cool breakthrough today. So, one of the things that has always gotten in my way is being afraid of falling from a great height. Not physically falling, but spiritually falling, because you see all these amazing leaders who fall down, make mistakes, and just end up being a reason for people to say, well, I shouldn't do this, or there's no point to it, or just getting these discouraged viewpoints. And that is not where I want to go in my life. I don't want to be somebody who hurts the world or causes discouragement. So I was thinking about why leaders fall, why it seems like people rise to great heights and then somewhere along the way they stumble, they fall, and they get burned, and the people who were following them get burned. Anyway, I realized something because I'm not a leader, or at least I don't view myself that way, and it's one of the reasons why I've always been scared of stepping out there and making videos and things like that. Is because I don't feel like I am all that important. What I have to say is anything more important than what you have to say. I feel like your voice is so important. Your power is so important, just as important as mine. I don't feel like I'm any better or more or whatever than anyone else on the planet. So the breakthrough I had today, and it's really good for me to have, is I realized leaders fall so that others can step up. So that people can find their own inner leader, the part of them that is a leader, the part of them that is greatness, to take over that. And people can look at leaders that fall and be discouraged, or they can look at it and be like, oh, that's a mistake they made that I don't have to make now. Because in my life, I'm going to fall and I'm going to make mistakes, but I can learn from other people's mistakes too. So I don't have to make the same mistakes as somebody else. I can make my own mistakes. And yeah, it's okay to make mistakes, and it's okay to be a leader, even though it means that you're going to fall, not just, you're going to trip, and it's going to be in front of more people than just, the one or two people on the sidewalk that day. It's going to be in front of more than just a few family members. It's going to be, in front of thousands or millions or whatever. You're going to fall. You're going to trip. You're going to stumble, and it's going to be embarrassing, and it's going to be hard. But you can pick yourself back up and keep going. And when you stumble, when you fall, in that moment, something amazing can happen. Everybody who's watching you can look inside and find their inner leader, their inner light, their inner powerful and amazing person. And so anyway, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. And one other thing I've been wanting to make a video on is affirmations. I think that one of the things that has got me through in life is having daily affirmations, daily positive affirmations for me, that I'm important, that I'm valuable, that I'm loved, that I'm a strong, fierce, independent woman who's wild and amazing and smart and really cool, and beautiful. And just find your inner things that you need to work on. Find the inner things. I now have to add organized to that because I'm not a very organized person. I am powerful. I have to add powerful to it, to my things, because it's really important that you the things where you feel the weakest, you start saying that you are the strong. You start saying, I am this, because those words, like in the scriptures it says, be still and know that I am God, or every time that God uses the words I am after it is something really powerful. I am the Alpha and the Omega. I am the beginning and the end. I am love. I am, And so use your I ams for good things, for positive things. Define yourself by the positive, not the negative. And give yourself a daily affirmation to say. And just repeat it until it's true. Because words are powerful, thoughts are powerful. Think beautiful things, become a beautiful person. I talked earlier about going on and hoping and being worth something. So one of the things that I had to be at in my life with affirmations is I had to be like, someday I will be worth this breath. Someday I will be worth the resources. Someday I will, and it started off with someday. Someday it will be worth this. Like someday it'll be worth the hell that I'm going through. Someday will be worth it. Everything will be worth it. And those days will come. Those days that make every bad thing in your life worth it will come and be amazing for you. And I want you to know that. I want you to know that no matter what it is you're going through, no matter how awful it seems, even though it seems like your world has ended, your heart is broken, you feel like you'll never get over it, the pain just is crushing you in that moment, there will come a time when it will be worth it. When having gone through that will be worth it. So I've been talking to some people who have been divorced and are on their second relationship, second marriage, and they have just been so in love, so powerfully in love in their second relationship. It's funny because before this happened, the statistics are that 80% of second marriages fail because you bring the same problems from your first marriage into your second. So you've got to work on yourself after divorce, and that's kind of what I'm working on is myself. So I have a lot of work to do though. But don't we all, right? The biggest room in the world is the room for improvement. Nessie, do you want to say hi? Do you want to say hi? Can you look over there? Can you look at the camera? Anyway. And so yeah, after, separating, sorry, I had hair on my face. After separating and going through a divorce, it's always important to take a step back and be like, okay, what is my part in the failure of this? Where am I responsible? Where am I not responsible? What can I do differently? It's not about the other person. It's never about the other person. The only thing that is about the other person is you always have to pay attention to your patterns of who you attract. I've always been attracted to a wide variety of people with very different qualities. I've never really had the same qualities in people that I've been attracted to. Now that I'm dating around a second time, though, I'm far more specific in who I want to be with, and I have more of a goal in mind of what I want in my life. Anyway, so yeah, one of my favorite quotes is, everyone's entitled to a first failed marriage. And I think that's great because we really need to forgive ourselves, no matter what it is, whether it's marriage, business, everybody should be entitled to a first failed marriage, a first failed business, a first failed, thing, because from a failure, we learn more than a success. From failure, we learn more than from success. And anyway, that's a really great quote. I don't know if it's been quoted, but yeah, it's a really great quote. Anyway, I was going somewhere. Sorry, I was just like, wow, that just came out of my mouth. That was so smart. Sometimes that happens to me, and I'm like, where did that crap? Actually, today I was talking to the universe, and I use that term because it's more just thoughts in my head and, just thinking things through and thinking things out. And I remembered this quote, but I'm not going to tell it to you as a quote. I'm going to tell it to you as a story. Okay, so you've probably heard it before as the quote, but I'll tell you a story that was in my head that seemed more powerful than just the quote. There was this guy, and he died, and in front of him, there was an angel. And he looked at the angel, and he said, "Angel, can you lead me to heaven?" And the angel looked at him, and he said, "I cannot lead you into heaven, because if I can lead you in, someone else will lead you out." And the man was somewhat distraught over this. He's like, well, how do I get to heaven if nobody is there to lead me in to heaven? And the angel looked at the man with great compassion and tears in his eyes. And the angel said to the man, within you is the power to enter heaven. And I think heaven is within all of us. I think the power to enter heaven is within all of us. The power to enter a space of love and joy and peace and transcendence. Transcendence from the things that are keeping us as mere men, mere humans. Because I think inside of all of us there are great beings, angels, gods, goddesses, whatever you want to call it, your divine self, your higher power, your super ego. There's so many different names for it. But I believe inside each of us, there is that greater power, there is that greater force, there is that greater soul, and it has the power to take us to heaven. I don't think that, and if somebody else leads us to it, we'll always be falling out of it. So it's up to us to find it. I mean, we can get glimpses through other people of the pathway there, but we can never really be totally and completely in the Buddha state or the state of bliss or in heaven if we allow ourselves to be led around by other people. So that's why it's so important for leaders to fall, because that allows us to look within. When a leader has fallen, it is time to look within. And it was just a beautiful message that came to me today. I really don't take credit for this. Some of the things, this is going to sound nuts, but I've always, since I was a child, heard voices. The first time was when I was 4 years old, and I was going to go and jump off the, I don't know if it was a dock exactly, but there was a cement thing, and it went down about, 20, 30 feet into this pond by our house. And I was going to tie some rocks to myself and throw myself in when I was about 4 years old. And a voice came saying that not to do that because my father needed me. And I don't know if you know anything about Mormonism, but they believe that God is their spiritual father. And I interpreted it as my earthly father needed me. And perhaps that's true. But in my life, much later on, a voice came to me saying, basically clarifying it, that I was needed on this earth, this place. I was needed here for the purposes of a divine God. And that really touched me. It really touched my soul. And I think one of the reasons that affected me so profoundly is because I know my own insignificance. I know that I am just one of millions and millions of people on this planet. And I don't feel like I am all that strong or all that great or even all that smart. And maybe I'm a little crazy because I do, occasionally hear voices. They're always good voices saying happy, positive things and giving me breakthroughs. It's not like other voices that you hear in movies or whatever. It's not like I'm in a horror film, but yeah, I've always when I have these conversations with the universe or God or angels or whatever you want to call it, these higher entities, and I get these thoughts that come to me that aren't mine, that don't even sound like mine, and sometimes they actually sound like a voice. Not always, very seldom do I actually sound like a voice unless it's really meant to be really a powerful message and at a time when I need it the most. Anyway, didn't mean to reveal that, but I'm sure that I'm not the only one out there who hears voices. But yeah, so the voice today was just telling me that leaders fall, that that followers can become leaders, that that mankind will look within to find their own light, their own spirit type thing. The actual voice was just that. Just said that leaders fall so followers can be leaders. And that was profound to me. That was exciting to me. The greatest leaders are not those who lead the many, but those who create leaders, who create more leaders. And that was a really cool thing. Anyway, I have to go, but have a great day.